Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Be Frank, the Men's Mental Health Podcast. Join us as we dive deep into the realm of men's mental health as we embark on an enlightening journey together. I'm your host, Jack Coward, alongside Ryan Smith, and we are thrilled to be sharing with your questions on another episode of Have Your Say. So grab your headphones, find your comfortable space, and prepare to be captivated by this enlightening conversation. Together, let's unravel the depths of men's mental health and discover the strength that lies within each and every one of us. Ryan, how are you on this sunny evening?
I'm all right, mate. Just trying to settle into life, man, and I'm just like late nights. Rachel has the mornings, and yeah, so I have him up till about 1, 2 o'clock, and mate, it's won't change him, but he's hard work.
So, how old is he? Is he now?
3 weeks, I think. Every day,
3 weeks into a very long life.
mate, every day is just like how can I put it? Every day is just into one at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago, that he was born. But yeah, it's weird how it just changes your whole perspective and outlook. Yeah,
It does, mate.
yeah.
Having kids is so hard to explain to someone that doesn't have
No,
kids. And now you've got now you've got a child. I can be like, mate, X, Y, and Z, all this thing. You'll be like, oh yeah, I understand that now. I'm like, yeah,
yeah. Don't get me
it's
wrong,
amazing,
mate.
but shit at the same
No, mate.
time.
I had my niece up earlier. I was talking to her, and we were just talking about like families and stuff, and sort of family trees and stuff. And now I've got a big family. I think cousins is like 22 cousins, something like that. And then you look at my brothers. You got I'm trying to think, more five brothers and sisters, and they've always got kids and stuff. And we actually thought about it. There's not actually many lads for like nephews, nieces, and things like that. So it's quite special, really. So yeah, but yeah, no, I'm good.
He's all good. He's all well.
Mate, he's a little tank,
Eating, shitting,
mate.
sleeping,
When don't
the
talk
usual crap.
eating, mate. Eating is it goes ups and downs, but he's 90% of the time he's smashing a 4 ounce bottle. Yeah, so
And how are you? How's your like? I know
um,
you've got like a lack of sleep, which will
do you
play
know
on a lot of
what? Do you know
things.
what, mate?
But yeah, mentally, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm loving it. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving it. I mean, I was a bit down well, midweek sort of thing. I found a job that I applied for, 6 months comment. I didn't get it. It's fine. There's somebody with more experience and stuff, so I was a little bit deflated and that. But other than that, mate, I've got another week off work, and I think when I go back, I've only got 3 days because I'll go back on a bank holiday, and then we've obviously got the Thursday off to work the pilot episode. So, yeah, no, I'm in a good place. What about you?
You fucking planned that well, didn't you?
I was debating whether to take another 3 days off, and I'm thinking to myself, do I do that? But then that leaves me like 3 weeks for the rest of the year, and I'm like, nah, I've had a month off. I'll go back to work. So yeah,
It'd be good to get that kind of back into, well,
some
I say
structure.
back into a routine, but some sort of structure,
Yeah,
precisely. Get into some structure with regards to
honestly,
work
yeah. I was just saying to
and
Rach. I
everything
was
else
saying,
that comes to play with it.
yeah, I was saying to Rach earlier that we were, tonight, because I've been out most of the afternoon and stuff at a triathlon. I'm going to stay up tonight as late as I can, so probably be about 3:30. Well, hopefully about 3 o'clock, and then Rach will take over. But in theory, she won't need to get up till 6. If that makes sense.
So what's he sleeping like at the moment then?
About 2. Well,
If you're up till like,
so
surely you should be,
his feeds.
stag rotation.
Yeah, but it's Xbox time, isn't it? So I'm gonna get a bit of Xbox time in. So I'm kind of having a bit of time for myself as well as looking after him. So, but he's eating roughly. Oh dear, sorry. Roughly
You
about
ordered already.
two,
Only
two and a
4
half,
minutes in,
yeah,
mate.
about 2.5 hours every 2.5, 3 hours he's eating. So, and you can kind of gauge for about half hour after that, he's having about 3 wees. So he's having like 3 nappies because he doesn't like a dirty nappy. He'll let you know as soon as that nappy's dirty. He will let you know.
Mate, all kids are amazing, and when we each hit these different stage of good times, bad times, and fruition now come to show over the next weeks, months, years to come down the line. But tonight we're jumping in on Have Your Say. I'm rather excited for this. It's been a long time coming since we've recorded a Have Your Say. It's so nice to have people still, even now, sending questions in, wanting answers from us, and just to share their own kind of experiences, stories, and what it is going on. Um, have Your Say for us has always been a big hit, something that was meant to be at the end of a show for a 10-minute period is, full blown episodes. And as I say, I'm excited to get this one done, recorded, and out there, and hopefully be more to come. And
Yeah,
let's
no,
see
mate.
what these questions bring, mate.
I'm just looking. I know we were commenting about my grey hair last week, but I'm just looking in this light. Look at this. I'm just like,
It's getting worse and worse every
it
week.
is, isn't it? It's even starting over here now. Look. Sorry, listeners. I'm just looking at my hair. I always keep it
So
short, and
he has tried to plait my hair, mate, earlier. That's how long it's getting. Out of
yeah,
boredom, mate.
I think you do need a short back and sides, mate. Two on
Nah, mate.
sides, two on back. Yeah,
I tell you what, after this, mate, we'll get a picture. We'll get them up on the socials, mate, and we'll see what people got to say.
yeah. Oh,
We'll see what happens.
got a dirty t-shirt. Look at that. Look at
Dirty
this,
t-shirt, grey hair, mate. Tell you
mate.
being a dad now.
Yeah,
Um, but right, I'm going to jump straight in, mate. We're going to
yeah.
jump straight in with the first Have Your Say. This comes from a gentleman named Carl over at here we go, Birmingham. I say Birmingham,
Birmingham, Birmingham,
Birmingham, Birmingham, Birmingham.
Birmingham. From
Yeah, right over
Birmingham.
there.
I can't say
There
that
we
because
go.
I'm literally from that neck of the woods. So sorry if
Safer to
anybody's
say
from
it.
Birmingham and listening. Anyway, let's go. Let's serious
Go.
heads.
So, straight in then. I'm so scared right now. My wife is pregnant and due to give birth midsummer. I am literally thinking I'm going to be a failure. I grew up without my dad, constantly fighting for my attention, or other around me as I'm from a big family. I fear I will screw things up and mess my child up. I don't want history to rewrite itself with me. How am I going to cope? Now, have you wrote this in? Because I'm not going to lie, mate, this does sound very, very familiar to your kind of situations and your thoughts at the beginning before
I'm actually
Rachel
looking
gave
at his
birth.
second. I'm actually looking at his second question. I'm currently out of work. I want to kind of merge these two questions together. I'm currently out of work. I don't know if I can support everyone. My wife wants to take 12 months off work, um, and I'm suffering with my mental health, hence why I haven't worked. How do I approach my wife? And the reason I want to kind of put them, I still want to keep them as separate questions, but I think they go kind of hand in hand with each other. So first things first, buddy. As Jack says, this does sound a bit like my situation. Obviously, I'm not got the work side of things. You know, I'm in work, but I didn't grow up with my dad, and I remember. Well, I don't remember it, but people's stories that share. You know, they've shared with me that I was in a pram and I was being pushed down the road, not literally down the road, but I was being pushed, and he was walking up the same side, and he did no more than cross over. That's the type of human he was, and didn't want to know. So you know, so I can kind of relate to what you're kind of saying. Um, you know, with what you're going through with your mental health and things like that, you've got you've got to take a step back and think of one thing at a time. Get yourself sorted. You know, I know you've got all these things coming up with you. You know, your wife wanting to take time off work and things like that, and it is daunting. But I think because you've written to us and you've asked these questions, I think you know what you've got to do, and I think you know um, that you can do something about it. It does sound, for me, in the questions, it does sound like you can. Um, you can get a grasp of it. But you've literally got to talk to your wife about, about your problems and what's going through your head, because a problem shared is a problem halved, and a problem halved, you're not carrying all that load yourself. So, first things first is sit your wife down and talk to her about what's going through your head.
I have to be in agreement with that, and I think she's your wife for a reason. You know what I mean? You got married for a reason. There's that connection there, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever way you want to see it. You've got that relationship there that you should be able to sit down and have that conversation. At the same time, on the flip side, I know how hard that can be. I remember me and Yaz sitting down and having a conversation with regards to my mental health, her mental health. Everything she was asking me, I didn't have an answer for yet, which was really strange because we do stuff like this on Have Your Say and we give our honest and open answer. But when it does come to someone you really love and care about, it's harder because you don't want
You
to
want to
see
protect
them.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's
you
that
want to
fear.
protect them.
It's that fear again that we always
Yeah.
come back to.
What I would say though is, if you have got certain feelings and thoughts going through your head, write them down. Would be a massive one. Um, so if she has got questions for you, you've got you've got it there in front of you, in you can kind of go through your points and stuff. It doesn't have to be long sentences, it doesn't have to be massive paragraphs, but if you kind of bullet point what you want to talk about and think about the things that are going through your head, so if she has got questions for you, you can kind of go, yeah, this is that, and then explain it around that sort of bullet point. Now, you have said you've got a big family, but it doesn't say if you're close or stuff. Um, if you are close, then talk to your family as well, because I think knowing that you've got people around you to support you, I think will be a massive difference. Um, if you've not reached out to your doctors or anything like that, I think that would be a first step in your sort of healing process as well. Would be going to speak to your GP or relevant professional to kind of start making sense of these thoughts that you've got. Um, but trust me, when I say you've got this, buddy, you have got this. Um, you've just got to take a step back and kind of make a plan to go forward.
Yeah. And once we kind of start that process, with regards to speaking to your wife, speaking to local GP, and seeing, getting them stages done, that's then going to enable us to understand. Once we understand, we can then start looking at the work process, because this is the time now where we have to step up, essentially. We have to provide that support financially, emotionally, to the to the family. You're going to be a dad. There is a responsibility that we have to take, and have to use that emotion of, being a dad, having them kind of worries, to step up to the plate and prove yourself wrong more than anything with regards to the doubts you've
Yeah,
got.
I do want to kind of, just come away from, well, take something from Jack's what Jack has said there, and I agree with him to a point. But I think before you do go and worry about the work side of things, and I know Jack should agree with this, but I'm not saying he does agree with it, but I think he will do. Before you do go and worry about that job and things like that, go and see your GP, go and start processing what's going through your head, because what that will do then is it will enable you to kind of, even if it takes you 6 months to get there, there is government support there. You have got to fight for it and push for it, but there is government support there for you. What government support is, I'm not, I don't know, but there will be something there. Now, it sounds like if your wife is going on maternity leave, I guess, so she sounds like she's currently in work, so you will get some money come from that as well. But what, obviously, that is down to the individual companies and stuff that offer that. Um, but go to your GP, get that process going. If it takes you 3 months, it takes you 6 months. Just gather your thoughts, be brave, go do it, because if you can do that, in time, what will happen is that work situation, you will be able to get back to, well, you should be able to get back to work. I've been there and I've got that t-shirt, and trust me when I say you can do this.
No, I am in agreement with you there, and I understand the points you're coming in with. At the same time, is you know, is getting a job is going to take a burden off. That what one of his burdens is going to be
Absolutely.
financial, and actually
Absolutely.
going to work as much as yeah, okay, we've got mental health. Going to work is going to put you into a different environment where your brain's going to have to focus on work on something else, which is going to allow you to step back from that mental health and that anxiety and or whatever it may be, because you're having to focus on something.
And
I
I just want
suppose
to
it
kind
works.
of
I suppose it works different with everybody, which is
this
the
is what I'm trying
difficult
to say,
side.
and it is difficult, and we don't disagree on a lot of things, me and Jack, and I'm not
Spice it
saying that
up.
we disagree on this. I'm not saying that we disagree on this, but we're looking at it from kind of the same angle, but from slightly different. And I totally agree that you do need to go and get work, and you need to get that job, because I think that will help mentally. I think that will help build up, that sort of fear of not having the money there and things like that, especially in the current climate. But I think the immediate thing for me is understanding why you're currently feeling the way you are. And as soon as you can do that, the sooner you can get to work, and the sooner you get to work, you can relieve that. So I think it all kind of goes into the same pot. But I think what you've got to do is work on your own method to get to that point. Whether you put that job first, whether you put your mental health first, I think they go hand in hand up. But I think you're going to need to deal with one first and then the other, but don't try and do both together, because you may get overloaded.
Yeah. Each one of these points we put across are a puzzle piece. We're throwing these puzzle pieces into a box. Only you yourself can put that jigsaw together in the correct order.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. We can only give our two thoughts, and this just goes to show, although we want the same outcome, we do look at things slightly different. And I think that's actually the first time majorly we've had some sort of not disagreement, but different the way we're
No,
looking
it
at, I
is
think.
though because
So
we've
Kyle,
both
I
come.
want to thank you
Yeah,
for that.
we're both going to the same end of the road. We've just got there slightly different. And again, it's for me, it's all about working out priorities. So if
Yeah,
the if the priority is if if your biggest burden at this moment in time is financial because the wife's taking 12 months off, you've got a kid on the way, then that's going to be a priority. Right, I do need to get the financial situation in order because that is going to be a one less stress I've got to deal with. If you've got enough money there to look after yourself for the next 6 months, then you can use that time to look for work that you want to do and to also work out what is going on mentally for you to get better. You can't do both. I understand that. You could kind of juggle both if you're very good, but we do not recommend doing that because it can cause a lot more issues. Again, we're throwing puzzle pieces into a box and you've got to put the puzzle together.
and what I will say though is you've got time. You've said midsummer, so I'm taking midsummer, sort of end of July, beginning of August. That's what I'm classing as midsummer
Yeah,
here.
August,
So
September, I
if
would have thought.
that's right, you've got time to kind of, your wife's still at work, so you've still got time to build up some stuff there, but you can also then take time for your kind of self. um I would go to say, and again, this is kind of coming from a privileged point of view, where paying for counselling or some sort of therapy may do you wonders. So go and look at, see if there's, you can get sort of 6 sessions with a counsellor. Yes, it's going to cost, but if that helps, then long term, as in come summer, you could start looking for work 'cause it's helped with this. Then I think that might be worth looking at as well. So yeah, I think we've answered about the best that we
Yeah,
can. So
definitely.
thank you very much. So I'll read this next one out, because even for Jack's question, it's geared towards me.
Always is.
Um, so this is, do you have a question for Jack? You're doing a great job. Have you thought about doing an update on episode for Ryan's journey?
Well, Carl, yes, I have been thinking about doing that and hosting that show for him. No, so we are in the process now of putting a another show together. which will be part of the Let's Be Frank outfit, let's say, and that will be following a bunch of dads through their journey, including Ryan's. So that will be with us in the next 4 to 8 weeks. The first episode, and more detail for that will come. Um, so Ryan, he's left a question for you. Ryan, I have listened to your episode and followed the podcast where you shared things about your upcoming birth. Are you scared? Um,
I'm going to rephrase that for you. Am I scared? Because obviously it's something that's happened, and it's a whole new human life. My life has gone one direction. My wife and I, my direction being in one direction, then all of a sudden it changed. And the more I look back now, the more I think I struggled to accept it in the early days. I think Jack can, I think Jack can reaffirm that I was, I wasn't sure if I was coming or going half the time. Still not sure now, but do you know what? It's probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And as much as this little human scares me, do you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. I can't.
there we go.
I can't answer that in any other way, and I just wouldn't change a thing. So yeah, thanks for the question. But yeah, I was scared. I am scared, and you just got to keep moving forward.
Oh, thank you very much, mate,
So
for them questions. And just to finish on, he has left a little review and idea. So his final comments are: the whole show I look forward to listening to. I take an hour or two each week to listen to your latest release. I've actually started to use your podcast to help me calm down. I think I've played all of them through 4 or 5 times now. Do you think this show will be any more than just a podcast, as you both deserve it?
mate, that's
That's
awesome.
also well. Firstly, thank you for leaving that positive and
Yeah,
you know um, review. It's so nice to see that people are not only listening but repeatedly listening to episodes, and to have someone use it as part of their therapy to help them calm down. That's that. Yeah, but it's part of the healing process. This is not just a podcast for someone to listen to on their daily commute and it's just forgotten about. People are actually taking something away from this to then be able to go, do you know what? This is actually helping me in my day to day life that much. I will listen to it again and again and again to help me de stress, de release. Do we think the show will be anything more than the podcast? Only time will tell.
we don't know.
Only time will tell,
We
mate.
don't know. We've put things into place to try and help that. We've got the 1st of June where we're going to be recording at Mount Street Studios. Um, but honestly, if it's picked up, it's picked up. If it's not, then it'll be a podcast, and let's see where that goes. Whether it becomes a live podcast, we have toyed with it and we do discuss on it. Not a daily basis, but we do talk about going live a bit more. So if it doesn't become a radio show, a TV show, then maybe a live podcast. But yeah, let's see where for it to become a proper live podcast, we would need some sort of investment into, I think, the actual brand of Let's Be Frank and stuff. And but right now, I don't think we're in that place. So let's see where it
See where
goes.
it goes. And he has left an idea for an episode which we have recently toured with and discussed. So
We've just
just
spoke
spoke
about, yeah.
about. So maybe a series following Ryan's journey for 12 months in his first year of being a dad, or even a new dad's podcast. As mentioned, that is actually in the pipeline. Whether it'll be 12 months, 24 months, we will see. But yeah, hopefully that will be out, as mentioned, within the next 4 to 8 weeks, just depending on recording times and editing and getting everything out. But
And getting people together,
yeah,
and
precisely. But Carl from Birmingham, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate you reaching out, and hopefully,
that's from Birmingham for those that do
yeah,
not know.
precisely. Hopefully, them answers have helped you. Please, once you've heard this, get back. Just get back in touch. Let us know if there's anything else we can do. We will certainly try our best.
We'll move swiftly on to the second round of questions, and this is from Logan, Washington State, so Northwest United States. Wow,
Across the seas for simple people like me.
that's across the seas, and then some.
Yeah, just a bit. But yeah,
So Logan, thank you very much for listening. So I'll run with the first question, mate. I think, yeah. So how do you get past being lied to and made to think you were crazy? when you were right for years. Like I feel stuck in the past trying to sort this crap out. I have two kids with this woman. Our oldest is 11. This happened before and after she was born. Cheating and lying. I am stuck with this woman. We split for 3 years. She had another kid in that time. We got back together. We split again last year. We're not together now. Why do I still feel like I want this woman? Why can't I move past this shit?
That is that from experience of seeing my mum and dad, and there wasn't like lying and cheating involved. But once they split, my mum, probably to this day, which has now been 15 years, still loves him. It's love. It's what it does, and it's such a hard place to be. And this is probably one of I would say this is probably the hardest question to answer so far on Have Your Say. A lot of topics we can kind of roll with, learn, speak about, digest,
Yeah,
break into. This one's really hard because you've got the sense there of a partnership that, you've been together for so long, you've had a split already and got back together, but you've got that connection there through the child. So it's
yeah. I actually think they're both. I'm not sure. I think both kids are his by reading the top part of that. I have two kids with this woman.
So I think
So
he's got two kids with her,
I'm
and she's got
maybe,
another
yeah,
kid from another gentleman.
right, right,
Um,
okay.
so
So for me, one of the things that and I can't talk on about split. Well, I can a little bit. My mum had a few different partners and stuff with different kids and stuff with different partners, but what I'm going to say on this, and this is only kind of coming to sort of play the last couple of weeks for myself, is you've got a couple of kids there that you both have this connection through now. You both, me and my wife, we love this, our son unconditionally, and we've got that in common, and I think that's part of you, and maybe that's the draw that keeps taking you back, is thinking that is there hope because of the kids, maybe.
I think there's a lot. 'Cause he goes on to it does go on to say, "I'm just going in circles, rinse and repeat. It's fucking driving me crazy. My head is a constant brick wall. I am up and down with my health because of her. It's not easy, and it's not going to be. It's not going to be easy. I guarantee that. And I think what we need to do on this is kind of break it down a little bit and ask some thought provoking questions back. I think more so on this. Um, and that would be one for me would be what is your initial fear of not being with her? There has to be something there that is making you want to go back. Because normally in my head, there would be a case of right, she's cheated before, we've split up. I've got back with her. She's cheated again, and now there's issues, and we've split again. Surely there's got to be a point in life that is like a slap in the face to go, it's not going to work. I need to move on for for my own mental health. You still get to see, like, obviously, it's not put in there what is parental rights are over there with regards to seeing the children. That could be a big factor in it. She could well be blocking him and stopping him from seeing the kids because they're not together. It could be completely the opposite. Obviously, we don't know without having the full story, only off what the questions he's sent. So, my biggest question with this: what is the fear of being alone from her?
I'm going to play sort of devil's advocate on that and ask him what the draw is to keep going back.
Yeah, which is it's very similar. Like, what is your fear from being
Yeah,
with her? But at the same time, what is
yeah,
the one thing that keeps drawing you back to her? There's a
yeah. So I think both
push and
both of
pull
them
there.
questions are perfectly valid, and I think for Logan to kind of get any sort of clarity or sort of understanding, I think he needs to answer them questions. But well, what is it I'm scared to lose if I don't keep going back? Has she got something over his head? It's obvious for me with what he said that um if she keeps doing it, mate, I'm sorry, but is it better to cut ties and then fight for the kids away from being with her? I know it's tough, and and I know, I'm not sure on what the rules, the laws, and stuff are in America, but especially Washington State and stuff, because I know all states work differently and whatnot. It's a bit of a mishmash system, but I think for me, cut and run and fight for the kids. It's the only clear for me. It's a clear cut, because his review kind of says that he likes that sort of advice.
Yeah, so obviously we'll jump onto this review quite short, in a brief moment. Yeah, it is kind of straight down the middle. To be fair, it's kind of honest. Of it hasn't worked. It doesn't look like it's going to work. As long as you get to see your kids away from that marriage or that relationship, then it is better for you and your mental health to not be in that relationship. From what you are saying, without the full details, I'd love to invite him onto the show and just get him sat here and go, right, mate, tell me everything, and then let's make a decision and answer these questions. Because at the moment, it's quite hard with just regards to I've been with this woman, she's cheated, we split, we got together, she cheated, we split, kids are involved. What the fuck do I do? It's hard to go. You know what I mean? You need a bit more, just a little bit more. So yeah, for me, I think that is probably the best we could do on that. Is Logan, yourself, answer them questions. What is the one thing that has drawn you back to her, and what is the one fear that's making you, not want to be alone? It'll be kind of how many people in the world, Ryan? There we
7
go.
billion, something like.
There's plenty out there, mate.
Might be more than that.
There's plenty out there.
Hmm.
They're not all
What's
nuts.
the saying?
There's
Plenty more
plenty more
fish in the
fish in
sea.
the sea. Um, yeah, Logan, I
Oh,
think,
nuts!
I think, I think that's the best we could do on that one. It's hard. That's probably the hardest
Yeah,
question to answer.
it is, man. It's
It's hard
tough.
to answer because there's not a lot to go at.
No, and what I want to say is, anybody that kind of, we will laugh about these subjects and we will make light heart of them, but trust me when I say we love these questions, and we do take them seriously, but we have to have a laugh at the same time, because if we don't, um, we'd go stir crazy, and with sort of our pasts and experiences, I think this is what works for us, and this is what keeps people coming back. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So he has
um,
his final
just putting that
comments. He's
out there.
put
So
your no bullshit approach is what is needed in the world. Don't get me wrong. I know you need to be.
stop the bus, stop the bus, stop
Don't
the
stop
bus,
the
stop the
boss.
bus. He's only left four
Yeah,
stars. I'm stopping the bus.
you're
He's
not
only
gonna
left 4 stars. But I
you're not
can
gonna let
stop.
him have his review on
No,
here.
I'm kidding.
Your no
No,
bullshit
no.
approach is what is needed in the world. Don't get me wrong. I know you need to be careful with certain factors, and that's okay. But on a whole, keep up speaking for men. Do you have an idea for episode? TV. Again, we're getting asked this constantly. Can you push for radio? Can you push for TV? We are pushing for a lot. Will anything come off? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. So, Logan over at Washington State, thank you very much for sending your questions in, mate. Hopefully, them back and forth answers have helped slightly, but do get back in touch, mate. I want to know more details on this so we can help you more with a more straightforward answer solution. So, moving on to the very final one on today's episode of Have Your Say. This is coming from a individual with the initial C, up in Newcastle. They go on to say, I freeze when it comes to sex. I am 26 years old, straight male, and slightly overweight. I am still a virgin. Don't get me wrong, I have had the opportunity to have sex, but when it comes to the deed, I freeze up. Each time I convince myself it is my weight, these problems don't seem to bother others. Why am I so abnormal? You're not, mate. You're really
You're
not.
not.
You're
No,
truly, you're truly not, mate.
no. Um, I'm. I can't say I was a late bloomer, but I'm overweight now. Well, I am overweight and whatnot, and I know there's plenty more out there that I think for myself, there's obviously a deeper root. Um, I'm not going to say to getting losing your virginity or anything like that. I don't think um, that is the issue here. I think there might be something more underlying, and I think going to see maybe a counsellor on this one to try and find that root cause, whether it is your weight or something, because it's obviously it probably bothers you more than it bothers other people, and because it's bothering you, that's not giving you the confidence there to go out and do things. I think there may be something more underlying there on this one. So yeah, it's a tough one because I can't. I'm trying to come from it from a perspective where I'm trying to put myself in this person's shoes, and all I can say is there anything more underlying? I'm going to move on to his second just to see if there's anything. But what do you feel on that one, buddy?
Yeah, I think I was going to say the second question he sent in to try and get a bit of a concept on the full story. So I've been thinking about the above more and more. I am getting embarrassed. If people ask how many people I've slept with, my head just running around in circles, and it's starting to worry me. What happens if I can't show intimacy or affection to a woman? What happens if I lie too many times and one day my friends find out? I will be ridiculed. What should I do?
First things first, I just want to answer that one there, mate. It does tie into the top one quite nicely. First things first, stop lying. I'm going to say stop lying on that one, and whatever your friends think, and well, whatever they think and whatnot. If somebody's judging you for the amount of people that you've slept with, fuck them off. Simply fuck them off, because if that's the sort of circle that you've got, and if that's what's putting pressure on you, then they're not the right people to be around. And now, um, what I will say is when the right and it is a cliche, but when the right person comes along that accepts you for you, um, all these questions that people ask you, will all go to the wayside. But what business is it ever anyone else's who you've slept with, or how many you've slept with, or whether you're straight, gay, whatever you are, it's nobody else's business but your own. So don't worry about what other people are saying, because when you find that right person, trust me when I say it'll be over quicker than you probably pulled it out, but it'll be special, man. And I think don't worry, don't beat yourself up, man, because when that right person comes along, yeah, it's going to be fast. It'll be probably the fastest ride and best ride you've ever had. But yeah, man, just take your time, and it will happen when it's meant to happen.
Yeah. Quite frankly, thinking the same on this one. I think if there's a few things to look at from this. As Ryan said, you know, stop lying about the situation. I think honesty is the best policy on this with regards to your friends. It's going to take a lot of weight and burden off you emotionally because of that.
Absolutely.
If your friends, by being your friends, should be able to understand that and should actually embrace you, sharing that with them. If they don't, fuck them off. They're not friends. They're just, absolute idiots. Um, there's no harm, or there's nothing wrong in being a virgin at 26. There's no harm in that at all. You may be an individual that is simply waiting for the right woman, which actually huge respect to you. um Also, if your weight is playing a big part on this feeling, first of all, sit down and actually think about that. Is it actually the weight that is stopping you in their moments of time? Is there something, like Ryan said, else underlining? Have you actually got feelings more towards men than women? Are we in that position? Again, there's a lot more questions to be asked from the one question you sent. But if it is down to your physical weight, do something about it, bro. Go and make a change. Go and do something positive for you, and over time, it will help.
It will. And if that is the if in 6 months time you've made small changes to diet, to exercising more and things like that, and if you're still feeling the same in 6 7 months time, then then I think there's something more underlying there. But what I will say, and I'll reiterate it, is don't worry about what others think. It will happen when it needs to happen. And if it don't happen for another 4 years, do you know what? There's people that go through life that will be into their 40s and 50s and still not. So don't compare yourself to others, because I think the moment you stop doing that, that will lift a massive weight off your shoulders. And by doing that, you may have a bit more confidence to do other things, and that confidence may lead to other things. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because you get into situations like I'm in now, and I've got a kid. Not that I'll change that for the world, man. But don't
You are
worry about
not
what
the
others
only
think.
person in
Do
your
it.
position with your predicament and your story. Like mental health,
No.
there are other people out there going through the same thing. And I guarantee you now, there are probably hundreds of 26-year-olds, 30-year-olds that are still virgins that tell their friends and family that they're the big dog and they're sleeping around.
Do you know?
Don't fucking worry about it, mate.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Honestly,
Do you know what? I actually think it's more common than people let on. Um, but we speak about the alpha male, the bravado male, the big cheese and stuff like that. And a lot of the time, it's all talk. It's all talk. Don't worry about it. You've got it, and it will happen when it needs to happen. So, C from Newcastle, thank you for that. I think we've answered it the best we can answer it. Um, and I think let's move on to what is kind of left us a little bit later on in a review. So he's left us a nice sort of 5 stars, which is thank you. But he's gone on to say, this feature has given me the confidence to write in. I listened to the episode where you answered a man's question about his wife and porn. You handled it brilliantly with compassion and care. You don't shy away from questions, and you're always honest, but you do it in such a way that it does not shame people for being them. For myself and the wider listeners, thank you both for setting this whole project up.
hey, listen, without you listeners,
Wow.
this project wouldn't be a project or a thing. So this is all
No,
down to you guys for
no,
listening, sending in your questions,
absolutely
and
humbled.
having the faith and
You know,
ability in us to answer them as best we can.
yeah. So I remember the episode that he's talking about, and I'm glad you've had the courage to write into us, and hopefully you've took something from it. So um, I don't think there's anything else that we can add to what we've answered. But that review there, them comments, thank you. Because for me, and I think Jack will agree, it's things like that. When I read that, it goes to show what we're doing is speaking to people. So as much as the comments for, you know, this show needs to be more, um, it would be nice. So we've got a bigger thing. So we're able to do more. But comments like that is why this show is here.
Yes. And if you guys want to be part of Have Your Say and send your questions in, simply look into the description of this episode and any other episode and just hit the link with Have Your Say and send them in. Hopefully, the answers we have given you tonight have gave you that little bit of understanding, a little bit of confidence to push forward. And by all means, get back in touch with any follow-up questions you may have.
Absolutely. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the show as I always close the show. Stand up, speak out, and remember, it's okay not to be okay.